JJ, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. So, what I want to start with is, do you remember the first album you ever bought?
First album I ever bought. No, I don't really remember exactly. I just remember mostly, my dad
Hmm.
playing me some of his vinyl records.
Yeah.
That was really when I started getting into, I think, albums.
Is there one that sticks out?
One that sticks out, no, not really. We kind of went through, I mean, he's a huge Beatles fan, so
Okay.
probably, he would have shown me those very early on. But he had a great collection, so we were that's how I got to know, most of those 60s bands and 70s bands, so it was fun.
Is that, well, because we'll get to the album, but obviously it's influenced by vinyl. So is that where your love for vinyl was born as well?
Yeah, I think that was my first experience with vinyl. So, but the album, however, the concept AB I had was more to kind of use it to show the diversity of the band. For A side, B side, as A side is more rock and roll up tempo, and B side is more quiet and melodic.
Sure. Well, we'll get to the album in a minute. So, but if you go to your dad's record collection, did he have a very eclectic taste? Did he have?
Yeah, he had great taste. I mean, he introduced me to, like I said, most of that music from 50s and 60s and 70s, and that had a great influence on me at the time. I was just starting out writing music and playing guitar, and I was probably 12, 13.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that had a great influence on me, and kind of encouraged me to look further and listen to more music. And,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, 12, 13 is quite young to start writing music. Was it already in English at that point?
Yeah, it seems that pretty much everything I write is in English most of the time. So that's just been something that comes naturally for me. I'm not saying that I'll never write in Icelandic. Who knows? But yeah, it's been natural for me to do that since I started, pretty much.
Do you remember what the first couple of songs were like, kind of?
Yeah, I can probably, if I work on the guitar, I could probably pick them up.
Okay.
I mostly started writing on piano first, but
Okay.
yeah.
What did songwriting do for you? Why did you get into it?
Songwriting, it's just a very, I mean, first of all, if you really like a song, for me to play a song that I really liked was a different kind of feeling. It was kind of different level of pleasure for me. And then obviously, songwriting was fascinating. It's very interesting, and to me, it's always been interesting being able to write this kind of song and then something totally different. An instrumental piece or something totally different, because music is very different.
Right.
And I like a lot of music. I don't only like rock or folk or whatever. I like classical music and the opera and a lot of things.
Okay.
So I think that was fascinating.
And well, the guys that you were in the band with, you met them at a very early age, but I think it was around 17 that you started playing together.
Mm-hmm.
When you were 12, 13, did you know from the other guys that they liked music as well?
I'd met the guys probably around 14, 15 in school. So yeah, we became good friends, and we all had the same kind of interest in, I think, classic rock at the time. So that kind of brought us together. And then a few years later, first off, me and Danny would play as a hobby, and then we had David come in and we started doing it, just mostly as a hobby, and then started doing gigs and cover songs, and pretty much played every gig we could to gain some experience. And I think that really helps us today, as all those gigs have really, we know each other really well musically. Right. I would say.
What is maybe because you talk about paying your dues when you're younger, so what is maybe the most important thing you learned about making music or being in this line of work?
I think the music business is very different than you think to begin with. It is a lot of work, especially, you know, like myself and us, you know, moving to America and performing and recording there. It's a privilege, and we're very lucky, but it's also very hard. I mean, we've been in the past few years, we played definitely over 300 shows a year, and pretty much been touring straight for 2 years, and it really takes a toll.
Sure.
There's not room for much anything else to do.
Right.
So it's a lot of work, but the fun thing about it is that it's very different. You know, you're in the studio, and that's very different from being on stage. And you're playing shows. You're playing small clubs, a few hundred people. You're playing big festivals for thousands of people.
Right.
You know, in different kinds of rooms, and I think that's really what keeps it exciting still and fresh. And obviously, we're playing all over the world. You know, all these cities in Europe, and we've played over 48 states in America. So it's exciting. You know, every day is different, kind of.
But it's interesting what you say because, well, obviously you're from Iceland. Was it a tough decision to leave?
No, I don't think it was a difficult decision to leave, because we really were focused on what we wanted to do, and this was kind of an opportunity that we knew if we would ever get there, that we would definitely do that. So, no, that was an easy decision, but I don't think we really knew what to expect in a way. Like you said, you know, we're from a very small country of 300,000 people, and now over 300 million in the U.S. It's a very different market. A lot of you know, everything works different, radio and such markets. But no, it was a easy decision, I think.
But then you moved to Texas. I believe it was Austin.
Austin, Texas, yeah.
Which is a very musical city, not just because of South by Southwest, but a lot of blues players. So was it by design that you specifically wanted to go there? We
were looking at a few cities in the U.S. To be based out of. Kind of came down to Austin, Texas, and Nashville. We wanted to be in the South also, yeah. But like you said, you know, Austin is a music city. It's been growing fast as well. And now we relocated to Nashville, which is a great place too, and we spent a huge amount of time there. It's great for recording, and obviously, you know, we have some of the best musicians in the world.
You mentioned liking the south of of America, and then obviously there's blues influenced jazz, and not just blues. But this might be difficult to pinpoint. But do you know why this connection with Southern American music? I don't know why. It's always been a part of me somehow. You know, I've always connected with the blues. It's just something that kind of, I think, if you have it, it never goes away. It's a part of you somehow, and it's obviously very influenced in many of my writings and many of the music, you know, much of the music. So yeah, it's also fun and exciting to go to these places where some of the roots of some of these music is where it comes from. Was it important that the way they reacted in America to the music you make? Was it important to kind of get their blessing? Yeah, I think so. It was important to us to have some success in the U.S. Since we're based out of there, and we did sign with, you know, an American label, and we took the step to go to America straight from Iceland. So yes, we have been focusing mostly on the U.S. You know, for the last 2 years, and now recently we've started doing Canada, Australia, and Europe and such, which is amazing. But it was always important to focus on the U.S., I think, to begin with, yeah. Right.